You have spent your entire life chasing happiness. Every morning you wake up and the first thought, before your feet even touch the floor, is about something you need, something you want, something that is missing. And it is this relentless, quiet, invisible reaching that is slowly draining you of the very thing you seek. The philosopher and investor Naval Ravikant put it in words that stopped me in my tracks. He said, "Desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. And right now, without even realizing it, you are carrying dozens of these silent contracts, each one a quiet vow to stay dissatisfied." Think about it. Every goal you have ever set, every purchase you have ever made, every relationship you have entered, somewhere beneath it all was the same whispered promise. This will finally make me happy. This will be the one that lasts. This will fill the empty space. But it never does it? The new car becomes just a car. The vacation fades by the week. And so you reach for the next thing and the next, like drinking salt water to cure your thirst. Over half a century ago, the philosopher Alan Watts saw this trap with perfect clarity. He wrote, "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone, but we never leave it alone, do we? We keep stirring, keep reaching, keep grasping, wondering why the water never clears." In 1978, a team of researchers set out to answer a question that quietly haunts all of us. Does getting what you want, truly getting it, actually make you happy? They found 22 major lottery winners, people whose wildest dreams had come true overnight, and tracked what happened to their happiness over the months that followed. The results shook the foundations of happiness research. Lottery winners, people who had received more money than most people earn in a lifetime, were no happier than a random control group. Not a little less happy, exactly the same. And here is the part that still haunts researchers. They actually enjoyed ordinary daily pleasures significantly less than people who had won nothing at all. Less. They enjoyed eating breakfast less, watching a sunset less, laughing with a friend less, the very thing that was supposed to fix everything, to be the answer to every quiet longing. It actually made the ordinary moments dimmer, the brightness drained out of the everyday, and nobody warned them this would happen. This is what scientists call the hedonic treadmill. No matter what you achieve, no matter what you acquire, your happiness returns to baseline. Studies show that within just 3 to 6 months, the emotional impact of even the most significant life events fades back to where it started. You run and run and run, and you never actually move. Now pay attention carefully to this next part, because this is where 2,500 years of monastic wisdom collides with the cutting edge of modern neuroscience. And together, across centuries of silence and decades of research, they reveal something that could fundamentally change the way you live, the way you think, and the way you define happiness. The understanding that chasing happiness creates suffering is not new. In 500 BCE, the Buddha declared, craving the root of all suffering. In 300 BCE, Epicurus warned that pursuing pleasure deepens pain. For centuries, this wisdom was buried, until 1978, when the Brickman study proved hedonic adaptation was real. And in 2025, modern science confirmed what monks always knew. The monk who sat beneath the Bodhi tree understood this with perfect clarity. After years of searching, years of extremes from luxury to starvation, he arrived at a single truth. The root of suffering is not pain, it is tanha, craving. The thirst that never stops. Not the wound itself, but the constant reaching for relief that keeps the wound open. And modern science has finally caught up. A study published in 2025 found that the active pursuit of happiness actually depletes self-control and drains mental resources. It leaves people more vulnerable to impulse, worse at making decisions, and paradoxically, more deeply unhappy than when they first started chasing. The ancient monks were right all along. Think about what that means for you, right now, today. The very effort of trying to be happy, checking in with yourself, measuring your mood, Comparing your life to the carefully curated highlight reels of others is exhausting your mind. You are draining the battery by obsessively checking how full it is. The great Vietnamese Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, a man who spent decades teaching millions how to find peace in the middle of chaos, put it simply. He said, "Many people think excitement is happiness, but when you are excited, you are not peaceful." Excitement is not peace, and somehow, without anyone noticing, we built an entire civilization around the confusion between the two. We scroll for dopamine and call it connection. We buy for a rush and call it self-care. We perform online for approval and call it success. We fill every silence with noise and call it living. And we wonder why, despite having more than ever, something still feels profoundly empty. Psychologist Iris Mauss at UC Berkeley studied what happens when people place a high value on being happy. Her finding was striking. The more someone prioritizes happiness, the higher they score on measures of depression and loneliness. The harder you grip happiness, the faster it slips through your fingers. But here is where everything changes. Here is where the light breaks through. Because the monks did not just identify the trap, they found a way through it. A path that has been walked for thousands of years, tested across generations and cultures. And what they discovered is not what you would expect. It is not another thing to chase. And across the world, from the forest monasteries of Thailand and Myanmar, to the ancient meditation halls of Japan, to the Himalayan retreats of Nepal and Bhutan, to the mindfulness centers now spreading through Europe and North America, monks and practitioners have cultivated something they call sukha for millennia, a deep contentment that arises from within, not the pursuit of pleasure, but the practice of presence. And here is what the science actually confirms, what rigorous peer-reviewed research says about how to find real peace. The path out is not positive thinking, not gratitude journals, not vision boards or manifesting your desires. It is something far simpler, far older, and far more radical than any of that. The path is acceptance, full, unconditional acceptance of whatever is. Researchers at UC Berkeley studied over 1,000 participants across 3 separate experiments and found something remarkable. People who practice habitual acceptance of their emotions, who let sadness be sadness, who let frustration be frustration without fighting it, reported significantly lower depression and greater psychological well-being, not by chasing joy, by making room for whatever showed up. Not fixing, not fighting, not running, just allowing, just being present with whatever arises. The monks have a simple instruction for this. Sit with it, do not push it away, do not chase it. And in the sitting, something extraordinary happens. The storm passes on its own. It always does. Every emotion you resist persists. Every emotion you allow dissolves. As Thich Nhat Hanh reminded us in his quiet, unwavering way, the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. Not somewhere else, not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect. Right here, right now, exactly as things are. So here is what this means for you. You can stop running. You were never behind. You were never broken. You were never missing the one piece that was supposed to complete you. You were just looking for peace in all the places it has never lived. Happiness was never at the finish line. It was always in the breath you just took, in the silence between your thoughts, in the ordinary miracle of being alive right now. And that, my friend, is the best news you will ever hear.